Injecting hopium particles.
Optical camo drone will soon. Objective. Seize.
Alright, so the game started and I see our Welkin rushing, so I boost. I repeatedly use shift to dash, and then I get on this patch of Corite in order to recharge. I retract my emergency support drone because I didn't want him to be visible. It makes a bubble around him and the enemies can see that. I place down walls to make a more advantageous defensive territory that we can hang behind, allowing us to do more damage in a way and to isolate them, but they do go in our back line and I do get hit a bit. I'm focusing on heals. I see that they have a Serenith, so I'm like, hey, that Stego should not be in the center trying to cap while there's a Serenith there. But he's just eating it, and I can't really save him like that. So he dies. On top of the, I believe, Inferno shooting at him, so it's not a good look. Here I back up in order to get a better sight picture of the map and what the situation is. Here I am taking cover from the Inferno, getting shot at. Ideally, I think the Stego should have kept back and do some damage with his missiles and missile barrages while allowing Welkin to focus on capture after we take down one or two of the enemies. Here I notice the Inferno is hard charging me, so instead of dropping straight down, I had the idea to go underneath this platform to my left and then go around it and essentially do my traditional signature square dance, but vertically. And he does drop aggro, and then I'm allowed to re-engage and help heal my teammates. I went in to heal our Welkin as he caps the objective, and the Serenith comes in a little too late. I go back to the Corite to get some energy regen, and then I'm going over to help assist our Falcon who's weak while avoiding trying to get hit by the Serenith. I see a Welkin, and I didn't know that was our Welkin at the time, but I was just following right behind him as the Panther and Welkin were chasing a Serenith. So then I kind of realized that was our Welkin. And so I go closer. As soon as I see the green box, I was like, yeah, that's our Welkin. Someone pinged the Serenith, so I start shooting, and then our Welkin engages, so I put my emergency support drone on him and shoot, and then watch from a distance as Serenith melts away. Here I am. I could have put my emergency support drone on Sky Raider a little earlier and then focus on tether healing Stego, and that would have been more optimal. He's getting hit, but I healed him up enough, so then I can just take a breath back, reassess the situation. I'm getting hit by their Panther. I was able to juke him, which helped provide some distance, and he did give up a little bit of the chase. We're kind of 3v1 down here, and I'm trying to keep Stego alive, but he dies. And now it's 4v1 on Charlie, and we're trying to interrupt, stop the cap, delay them as much as we can. I don't really count myself in this 4v1, but I could have dropped CAD wall drops, but I was more focused on using our Sky Raider to help interrupt, on top of me using my splitter on the Sky Raider to help interrupt. It was at this moment where my emergency support drone came back to me, and then I started blasting with my splitter that the enemy, they realized my position, and so they started focusing me. And then I drew aggro. I get targeted by the Panther, and the Serenith has got orbitals on me. Here I'm running from the Serenith, and I'm keeping her away from doing the objective. I go down, and I'm running towards the Corite, and Corite provides both energy and fluid armor regen, and I know energy damage does do damage to the fluid armor. That does help my defensive capabilities, allowing me to heal myself. I'm wasting the Serenith's time, and then I get enough energy from the Corite to get out of there. Serenith's still focusing on me. Really bad move for a Serenith to focus on a healer that can heal themselves, and if you're not going to secure the kill, it's kind of interrupt. I'm not really here to kill him, but I try to goad him into attacking me melee-wise, and then drop walls on him, but he doesn't take the bait. And so I get targeted by the Inferno, and now I'm trying to dash out of there. heal up a little bit. My teammates are telling me to give up B, but I'm annoying, so I interrupt one more time. And then I'm thinking that they're still on the cap point, so I try to interrupt more, but then I get stabbed in the back by a stellaris, and that's when I give up B. Panther's weak, but he runs away, so I don't give chase, and I focus on healing our teammates because I was neglecting that while I was distracting at B. Here I'm trying to keep our Welk alive. He's getting targeted hard. I've dropped drones. I'm using tether heal. And now that he's like near full health, he's in a good spot, and I'm assessing the situation. Here I see the enemy stellaris, so I'm shooting with my splitter, trying to reveal the position of the stellaris. Like, kind of like throwing a net in an area, but, you know, sometimes I get him, sometimes I don't. He does run away, and I start healing. So one thing to note is that the stellaris was really aggressive, and he wasn't playing with the intention of being sneaky and backcapping. And also their Serenith was also really aggressive, trying to do more damage than doing the objective. So that's another thing that is worth mentioning. I mean, looking at the score now, and we had a triple cap for most of the game, they probably sort of mentally gave up, psychologically defeated themselves, and focused on the kills instead. The Serenith grapple did confuse our Stego, and he started shooting at me, but that was game. And we mainly won because they didn't really go for the objectives, because we delayed them, and they just allowed us to keep and maintain our triple cap, which allowed us to win pretty easily, not gonna lie. They were too focused on kills because they had to kill us in order to prevent us from disrupting or interrupting them from doing their objectives, so they were doing a juggling balance. I think if the Serenith was a lot smarter, they would have capped the objectives from a distance using the grapple instead of being on the aggressive. I think if anything, the Serenith should have used an orbital to push Stego or any of the enemies or any of our team use an orbital to push any of our team off the objective, and then use the grapple to cap the objective from a distance. And I also think that their stellaris could have done a better job backdooring. I mean, it was also an issue that I instinctively sort of knew to shoot at an area where the stellaris might be if he's trying to cap it, in hopes that I interrupt the capture. So that's just another way we played here. I think another thing is that the Serenith has this ability which prevents fire control system lock-on, which also prevents melee from hitting her. If she spammed that properly, it would have been a different game. And then I accidentally left the game quickly, so I couldn't look at the stats, but now I pulled them up. One thing to really note is that I didn't see their Narukami a lot, but she did have the most defense. That doesn't necessarily mean that she had a lot of interruptions, though. That just meant that she was camping at a place where she could score defense points. And I did get shot by the Narukami, and those were the beams that went through the walls in the beginning, but I didn't really see the Narukami later, so I don't know if the whole team was sort of flaming. Another thing is that they had Illuminate, but that repair of 79k is atrocious. It's bad, and I don't know what they were doing. They did get one capture, but at the same time, they didn't do a lot of interruptions, and they didn't have a lot of captures to do a lot of interruptions. But also 80k healing is not good. On their team, their Inferno did really good, phenomenally good, and honestly, he kind of just got sort of the bad matchmaking match being thrown in that team. Their Panther did tank a lot, and if you look at our team's damage output is really low because we were mainly focusing on objectives. So it doesn't really matter what the stats say as long as you win. The stats do help you figure out where there's room for improvement. And I think, overall, we had little deaths on our team, so that means I did a good job, and they had not a lot of damage on their team. I mean, their Serenith had almost 300k damage, and that's bad because Serenith had 0 captures. if you're playing a Serenith on an objective map, having damage is not necessarily the good thing, and the fact that she didn't secure any of the kills meant that she was wasting time with a lot of her damage. And I know that was for a fact because she was chasing me, and I made her waste a lot of time by being a rat and hugging the Korite. So that's another thing too, is like I named this rat Like Pinaka because I was just a rat and they didn't see me, and then anytime I drew aggro, I would run away, like scurry away like a rat. And I would annoy the stellaris trying to cap. I would waste time for the Inferno and he would drop aggro, and then I would also waste Serenith's time preventing her from focusing on captures. So that's the name of the game for this, and I was really amazed with myself because I usually don't play like a rat like this, but I was able to play like a rat, and I was able to keep my team healthy and minimize our deaths on our team, and we did overall well, I think. And then this is my like sort of final pro tip. When you're looking at the stats, don't look at it to assign blame to your teammates. Look at it for room or areas to improve your sort of ability and insight to be able to see how the game went, as well as what you could do to improve, as well as how you can constructively help your teammates if you're queuing with them. You know, if you're playing this game and you look at the stats and then you assign blame, but then you learn nothing out of it and say, "Oh yeah, I don't have to improve," you're not gonna level up your playstyle. You're not gonna get better at it. You know what I mean? So you have to look at this objectively and be like, okay, where could I improve? Like here, I didn't do a lot of damage and I was focused on interruptions and objective. So maybe, you know, a place where I could have improved was throwing down more walls, because I didn't really throw down more walls after like the first clash. And then I only threw down walls again in order to bait the stellaris into fighting me and killing him, but he didn't take the bait. And so that's another thing you gotta like keep in mind is like there are rooms for improvement within your own playstyle. So make sure you check out your replay videos and don't assign blame to the teammates. Assign homework, essentially. Assign rooms of improvement, because the better you play, the better the games are gonna be, and the better like the feeling of winning is gonna be. Especially when you get a game where everyone's like equally skilled. It's really fun. It's challenging, and it's like back and forth. Anyway, that was more of a commentary analysis on the game itself, not really the game mechanics or my playstyle mechanics. So if you like all this jazz, let me know. I'm sort of like going back and forth between doing Mashmot content and what do you call it, Verge a little bit, because you know, I'm posting whatever I want. But if you have anything in particular that you want to see, let me know in the comments below and all that jazz. Hopefully you have fun. Hopefully you enjoy the game. Yeah, have a good life. Cheers. Injecting copium particles.